What's up, world? Nutrition and wellness guy here, Chef D, your nutrition and healthy wellness coach. I always say something different at the beginning. This episode is all about immune health or your immune system. And we're going to talk about it in a way that we're just not waiting for a crash to happen. We're going to approach this on how to support it, how to listen to your immune system, how to make sure we don't panic when flu season comes and cold season comes and when all type of epidemics and pandemics are out there. We're going to talk about what it looks like to have an immune system that responds well in general, not just when, we usually only talk about immune system when it comes to a call for a sneeze or fatigue. In this particular episode, we're going to talk about 5 red flags that we need to be on the lookout for when our immune system is really trying to get our attention or we're overworking it. Then we're going to talk about what the immune system is actually doing. What's the purpose of the immune system? Then we'll talk about the 7 habits or some 7 daily habits that you can start today, this week, to get your immune system back on track. And then we'll look at it from a holistic, naturopathic viewpoint and guideline. So, disclaimer, I'm not a doctor or immunologist. I'm a nutritionist, certified personal trainer, behavior change specialist. This podcast is not about diagnosing, treating, or curing disease. It's about helping you support your body with real life habits that matter. No hype, just healthy-ish. You guys know, y'all know the brand. Healthy-ish habits that stick. And again, that's what we're all about. This is healthy-ish, having your cake and eat it too. Every day, sustainable practices, lifestyle, behavior. When you get to trendy things, when you get into gimmicky things, they don't last. There may be a place for it. You're getting ready for a wedding, you're getting ready for a vacation that's right around the corner, or you just had a health scare. I get it. But this community, we are practicing sustainable lifestyle habits and behaviors that support us for the long run. So that way, when cold season does come up, we're not, panicking, or we don't have that anxiety. Some people have anxiety when the weather start to shift, or when they travel, they get on the plane and their anxiety is heightened because they're the ones who usually get sick, or they're more susceptible to illnesses or diseases whenever they are at the work. Some people work hybrid. And when they do go into the office, they feel some type of way because they're not sure if they're going to catch whatever's going around. Some of you have children, and when school season starts, you're on edge because you're like, what new cooties is my little one going to bring into the house this particular school year? And then, people also who go into concerts, anytime there's a big crowd or festivals, believe it or not, may not be you, but you'll be surprised how many people in this community who I've coached and I've, met and just talked with, who have their anxiety heightened because their bodies are always getting attacked when they're outside of their comfort zone, even, visiting hospitals, whatever the case may be. So this episode is for you. And also for you who don't have that anxiety, here's some great tools, strategies, and some things to be aware of so you can keep your immune system on track. So 5 red flags, and these are some of the red flags. Again, these red flags aren't definite. So I'm not saying these red flags, or any one of these red flags, mean that your immune system is trash. Go to the ER, go admit yourself right away, you're dying. No, what I'm saying is that these red flags, or some of these red flags, may be an indicator that your immune system is overworked, overstrained, undersupported, and it may need some attention. But don't worry, I'm not going to just leave you with the red flags as we get deeper into this episode. And also, I'm excited. We have an amazing guest who is going to be sharing some great information. She's a great friend of mine. And she got her paperwork. She got her documents. She's educated. She got a lot of good experience. So I'm excited to share that conversation in our Coach's Corner, what she shared when it comes to immune health. and just some practices, some things to look out for. And we got some strategies and tools we could put in our tool belt that you probably didn't hear before. Some of it was my first time. So when it comes to red flags, let's just get right into it. So red flag number one is you catch every cold that goes around. So as I said earlier in the intro, if you're noticing that anytime the weather shifts, or if someone around you coughs or a coworker coughs, or you're traveling and already your body is starting to build up defenses and then it gets overtaken, that could be an indication that your immune system is not well supported. Again, when it comes to the immune system, some people treat it like it's a fire extinguisher. So when you're not feeling well, or when you get sick, or when your body is super fatigued and you know it's fighting, it becomes a fire extinguisher, like, okay, let's put out the fires. But it shouldn't be that. Your immune system is more like a surveillance system. It's always scanning, it's always finding out what may be threatening your homeostasis, what's threatening your peak performance, what may be threatening your focus, what's threatening your mood, your energy, your skin, whether you get a cut or a scrape. It's always on alert mode because it wants to maintain a healthy environment for the organs and for a lot of the other system that depends on this defense. It could be an offense thing too, but for this defense system. So if you're finding yourself catching a cold every single time it's flu season or cold season, COVID, all that stuff, it's not so much that you need more vaccines and you need more immune shots. It could mean that your body just needs to be supported more naturally and more holistically. So that way when these seasons coming around, you're not so on edge about whether you're going to get sick or not. Number two, cuts and scrapes heal super slow. So wound repair is part of the immune job description. When you get cut and the time it takes to heal that cut is also an indication on how well your immune system is responding. Yeah, we can get some of the, ointments and topical treatments to put on there to help with the healing process, vitamin E or any other things that we grew up on. However, it's also good to see how long does it naturally take for a wound or a scrape to heal. If you bruise your skin or you scraped it up, what does that look like? Anytime you are having a forever healing process and it just seems like it takes longer for your wound to heal or you to get better after an injury or after an illness, then that is an indicator or could be an indicator that your immune system might be in trouble. You might want to pay some attention to that. Flag number 5, you're always tired, even with sleep. So this is saying, hey, I'm sleeping right. I'm getting my 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I'm getting my naps in throughout the day. I'm eating right. I'm not scrolling on my phone right before I go to bed. When I wake up, I'm getting fresh air, fresh sunlight. I'm stretching. You're doing all the right stuff, and you still feel tired. Even, I'm drinking coffee or, drinking your matcha. I know you matcha people out there. And I'm doing whatever I usually do to get my boost, but my boost ain't boosting. So you're now trying to figure out what is going on. And I'm telling you, that could be an indication that your immune system is not online. It's not online 100%. And something is taking away its attention. Usually with immune functions, it requires energy. So if in the background your immune system is fighting off infection, or if it's fighting off something that's trying to evade or invade your body, then it's taking energy that your body is normally using for focus or using for the gym or using just for everyday breathing, thinking, eating, whatever those functions are. Your immune system is draining the battery because it's constantly fighting things ineffectively. And that's something we want to take a look at. Number 4, this is a big one. This is one that I think this is top 3 of what clients who I work with report issues with, and it's chronic bloating or gut issues. And this is huge because over 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. If your digestion is inflamed, constipated, bloated, unpredictable, your immune cells are likely distracted or reacting to the wrong things. So your gut, leaky gut, inflamed gut, bloated gut. This is, again, 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. That's huge. So if your gut is not thriving on the right bacteria, if it's not supported, if it's under supported, then guess what? A lot of the issues that you may be dealing with when it comes to illness or sickness or fatigue, it's your gut. So, and that's something we're going to talk about a little later as far as the naturopathic holistic approach, is heal the gut, and everything else usually just falls right into place. Once you focus on the gut, and I'm excited. We actually, we had the gut episode. If you haven't seen that, please tune in. We'll put a little, I think like right above my head on post edit, I'll put a little tag that you can tap on that and save it for later. We did a full episode on gut health, eye opener, great episode. But again, if you're dealing with chronic bloating and gut issues, immune system could be in trouble. And last but not least, this is something we don't talk about often, the lymphatic system. You may hear it here and there, but it's something that we should be paying more attention to. So your lymphatic nodes, so flag number 5, your lymph nodes feel swollen a lot. So the areas where your lymphatic nodes are present, or you can see there's a signal of some type of infection or it's trying to fight, is your neck, your groin, your armpits. So if there's a lump or if it's swollen, that could be an indicator that it's in fight mode. It's stuck in fight mode. And constant low-level swelling is a signal worth paying attention to. Your lymphatic system is very instrumental on immune support, because that's the drainage areas. That's where hormonal balance comes in and better support to keep you healthy. And those are the 5. I mean, if you want to hear those again, let's say outside of the podcast, we released on Monday. Check it out on TikTok, Instagram, even YouTube. 5 red flags. We did a short to reel, a great episode. I'll put a little sticker up above my head again there, where you can also check out that episode. And if it's not up there, just check in the description, where you'll be able to see what I just said, but more animated, more, a little bit more covering the red flags, and something you can share quicker. You may not be able to share the whole episode, but you may know someone who's dealing with the 5 red flags. And I put in a smaller package, so you can just send that off to somebody who you truly care about and you love, and say, hey, I heard you mention you were going through this. This could be a red flag. And Chef D was talking about this on his podcast. Check out this video. And gets us right into what your immune system actually does. So, like I said before, it's an internal surveillance system. It's always on, always scanning, always learning. So your immune system is learning about different things that's attacking it. And I'm gonna tell you why. So for starters, your immune system identifies. So it identifies threats, bacteria, virus, fungi, toxins. So anything that's not supposed to be there, your immune system is checking. It's like doing a scan, and it's checking to see what is a foreigner, who is invading this body, who does not belong. Now, first it's going to see who does not belong, but then it's going to see, is it good? Okay, are you supposed to be here? Or are you not supposed to be here? Are you here to help? Because there's such good thing as good bacteria. So are you here to kind of help out? Were you who we call for backup? Or are you here to kind of mess things up? And that's when it goes into whatever mode it needs to go into, whether to ignore it or to, pull up on sight. You know what I'm saying? Send them out. And that's when, if it's an invader, the immune system then neutralizes or tries its best, and this is where support comes in, it tries its best to neutralize, whether through chemical or cellular responses. You always hear about your red cells, your white cells, but there's also some other things we have in our bodies that the immune system can use to attack. One thing is inflammation. So we always hear inflammation is bad, inflammation's, stay away from inflammation. Inflammation is actually a tool of the immune system to support when something goes wrong. So when something inflames, you injure a knee or you injure part of your body or something's inflamed, it's the body's quickest response to protect itself until the other defenses in the body get there. It's so funny because we just hear inflammation and we just think bad, bad, bad. Inflammation is just like, hey, whoa, whoa, listen, I need you to pay attention to this area because this area is under attack. Send more support. Because the body's already doing it internally, you also now have a role to play externally to help get that part of the body back in check. The immune system also repairs. So repairs tissue after stress or damage. So again, once there's been some damage, it doesn't just say help, 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 or it doesn't just inflame. It then goes to start repairing. So your immune system is responsible. And this is why it's important to have a diet that supports your lifestyle, because now your body is starting to have things to grab and pull to help. Your right vitamins, your trace minerals, your antioxidants, like your polyphenols and all these other things that we can introduce to our body. Ginger, garlic, all the great things we already talk about. That's why I'm talking like that. That's why I preach that. That's why I try to hit that home, especially as a flexitarian, because we have an active role in supporting our immune system. And again, this is not saying give up all your fast food, give up all your fried food, give up all your alcohol. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we have a responsibility, especially as we're getting older, to have more balance in our lives. Because again, healthyish is about balance. It's about mindset, it's about moderation, and it's about movement, our 3 M's. So when you have those in mind as you're picking what you're going to eat, as you're picking what you're going to do, as you're picking what you're going to be, that allows you to be something sustainable long term. Because if it's trendy, if it's gimmicky, you're only going to be able to do it for a little bit. It's not even about willpower. It's not even about discipline, because sometimes we beat ourselves up and say, I just don't have the discipline. I don't have the willpower. It's not about that. Sometimes it's about putting yourself in a situation early on to say, you know what? I enjoy ice cream, and I'm not going to eat it every day or every night or every other day. I'm going to eat ice cream when I feel that it's in balance with the rest of what my diet looked like for that week. So if I did the right thing with grilling some of my food, baking some of my food, roasting some of my food, then I deserve some ice cream. I deserve balance. And that's what if I didn't say anything else, when you listen to these episodes, I'm coming from a place of balance. I'm not looking to be a bodybuilder. I'm not looking to be in anybody's magazine with my shirt off. I mean, if it happens, great. Shout out to whoever booked me for that. I don't see that happening. But I'm saying, let's be real. We want a body that we can, when we get out the shower, we're not disgusted. We want to look at a body that we're actually proud of. And even though our body may not be exactly where we want it to be, it goes a long way when you can look at your body and you can see progress, where you see less inflammation, less bloating, less scarring, less bumps, less, because again, when we get to the episode of skin health, you'll see how your skin acts out when it's trying to let you know what's going on inside the body. But that's all we want. That's all I want. I want to be able to get to a point. And I'm not saying get to a point like I'm not there. I've been doing a lot of work on this, therapy, just being in this profession. So I like the house that I have built. I love my house. It's not clack, 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 and it's not all, but I love the house that I built because it's an ongoing progress. You know what I'm saying? Like, as I get older, I'm learning new parts about myself. Some stuff I'm like, it's okay. It can stay that way. It's okay. And then other parts I'm like, you know what? I might want to do something about that. And then other parts you'd be like, doctor such and such, we need to clip here and cut there. Hey, whatever's your business, that's your business. But again, if you can support it naturally as best as possible, that's what we're talking about in this community. Also, when it comes to your immune system, it remembers invaders, so you bounce back faster the next time. So that's what I'm saying. Your immune system has a great memory, or supposed to. This is where a good lifestyle comes into play. Healthyish lifestyle comes into play because your immune system remembers who's not supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? And then after it did its thing to neutralize it, it remembers like, okay, I remember. Okay, all right. So you come up in here with that foolishness again, we waiting on you. We ready for you. What they say, we waiting for you at the door. So we waiting for you. And that's the best part about having a healthy immune system, because when that foolishness comes back again, it's ready. It's like, nah, I'm sorry. You played us the first time, but nah, you can't come in. No, ma'am, no, sir. Have a good day. Be blessed. That's what it tells the germs. I don't know if it's that nice, but that's how I like to think it does. And then last but not least, it regulates inflammation. Like I was telling you, it's not a bad thing. So your immune system either turns it up or turns it down. It's disposal. It's a tool. So it's not a bad thing to be inflamed. But if you're always inflamed, or if you stay inflamed, that's when the trouble comes. It's supposed to just come and go as a protect. If you sprain your ankle on the court and you start to see it swelling and inflaming, that is an immediate response to protect all the things in that area until healing happens. That is supposed to be that way. If it stayed that way, we were like, a year down the road and your ankle's still swollen, we got to have a little chit chat, something that the immune system forgot to turn it off. And this is when you need to get some medical advice. And this is when you get some consultation on what's going on. Now, when it comes to a naturopathic look at it, this is what holistic practitioners, people who I have the privilege of working with, going to school with. These are some of the practices that are common. These are what I adopted and I consider helpful when you're thinking about your immune system. And here's 5 key principles I wrote out for you guys, and I just want to emphasize this. So balance, when it comes to your immune system, balance is the goal, not boosting. You don't want an overactive immune system. That's how autoimmune conditions start. You want a system that responds appropriately and then chills out. That's why we're saying you don't want to always going. You want to always scanning. You want to always learning, but you don't want to always going. Number 2, you want to heal the gut first. So leaky gut, microbial imbalances, and food sensitivities all distract your immune cells. So a strong immune system starts with a well-fed, well-balanced gut. And again, check out that gut episode, because we share things that help the gut really get its confidence back. We share things that help reduce bloating. It's a really solid episode. We had a really great guest in Coach's Corner. Definitely check that out. Number 3, emotions and immunity are connected. So chronic stress, unprocessed anger. This is a big one. Just, kind of like letting things fester, that actually affects your immune system. And I guess you guys hear the motorcycle out there. I guess someone's out here by the beach doing some motorcycle stuff. Again, this is raw. We don't do cuts. Once we hit record, we off to the races. So again, number 3 was emotions and immunity are connected. So chronic stress, unprocessed anger, and even loneliness, this is a key thing, can suppress or overactivate your immune response. The nervous system and immune system are in constant conversation. They always going back and forth about you, concerning you, and they have your best interests at heart. So find ways to support it, whether it's therapy, whether it's, for me, it's church. I'm a God's guy. I love me some God. So I ain't perfect, and you're not perfect, and we're not perfect. It's all good. But again, you need to find ways to feed yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and socially. These are my 5 pillars of health that I speak on when it comes to coaching my clients. These are the 5 areas we touch on. I assess these areas and we address these areas, because you can do 4 without 1, and I believe you'll still be deficient. So when it comes to feeding yourself spiritually, to me, it's a non-negotiable. Without God, I don't know where my health would be. I don't even know where my mind would be. It doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make it easy, but it makes it bearable, and it makes it worth it. It makes it so worth it, knowing that I have that to just rely on, prayer, just getting in solitude, listen to some worship music. Those are things I'm not shy about. I'll never be shy about that. I don't care who's looking, who's talking about it. It has nothing to do with being super righteous or a holy roller. It's just, I know my role, and I know without him, I'm nothing. That's just what it is. That's me. You do you. All right. So, number 4, sleep and your circadian rhythm matter. So, number 4, with the naturopathic holistic approach, these are some great guidelines to help you look at your immune system in a way that builds more support. So, sleep and circadian rhythm matter. Number 4. So, if your sleep is off, your immune rhythm is off. Your immune system has clock genes. I don't know if you knew that. And if you're staying up late every night, you're literally throwing off its timing. You guys definitely check out the Sleep Health podcast. Oh my gosh, that was another eye opener. Really great week talking about sleep health and how to support your sleep, not just in the bed, but before bed and after you wake up, which is all part of sleep health. And number 5, food is information. I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back. Food is information. What information are you feeding your body? Every bite sends a message. Processed, sugary foods tell your immune system to react, while whole foods loaded with antioxidants, fiber, and minerals tell it to regulate, repair, and calm down. Hey, calm down, relax. We good here. We did our little we got a little green juice. We did a little berries. We good. We good. Don't overreact. Chill. Relax. We good. And that's when you have a well-supported immune system. So real quick, 7 daily habits to strengthen your immune system the healthiest way. So number 1, like we say, prioritize gut health. By you doing this, you're putting yourself in a better position to fight off whatever's coming your way, seen or unseen. So fermented foods, prebiotic fibers, different broths. I mean, bone broths are also a really good way of doing it. And less processed food really equals a happier gut and a stronger immune system. Number 2, move to circulate. So your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. It doesn't. It actually depends on movement. So walking, stretching, rebounding, and even deep breathing helps circulate immune cells and drain waste. So don't overtrain. It's not an overtrain thing, but don't stay still either. So sometimes people say, hey, I can't get to the gym 5, 6, 7 times a week. That's not always the goal. Sometimes the goal is to stay moving. Sometimes you can only do a walk after you eat. Sometimes you can only get to the gym twice a week. Sometimes you can only make a yoga class twice a week. Whatever the case may be, get in where you fit in, because staying still is not helping your immune system. Number 3, hydrate with minerals. So drinking water is good. However, absorbing it is better. So add a pinch of sea salt or trace minerals to a couple glasses a day. This is a great way to hydrate strategically, which you'll hear me talk about often. And also starting your morning, another one, ding, 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 with warm lemon water. This is a non-negotiable for me, to hydrate your cells and support detox flow. I always start my day with lemon water. Sometimes, all right, that's cap. Because sometimes I'm traveling, or sometimes I wake up late and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna get my day started. But in a perfect world, which is not a perfect world, I like to start my day with lemon water. Number 4, we load up on micronutrients. So eating real food with real nutrients. Vitamin C, vitamin D, sun and some salmon, zinc, pumpkin seeds, shellfish, selenium, Brazil nuts. Aim for color and variety because your immune cells feed on nutrients, not just calories. And number 5 for 7 habits, sleep like your health depends on it, because it does. During sleep, your body regenerates immune cells, clears waste, and lowers inflammation. So try to keep your room cool, avoid screens before bed, and honor your wind down ritual, whatever that is. Maybe some herbal tea or just low light, just honor that. Actively manage stress. So again, this is a strategy. Cortisol suppresses immune functions. So breath work, journaling, prayer, sunlight, and even laughter, like some good laughter, reduces cortisol and support immune balance. And then number 7, create joy and connection daily. This is, again, talking with the right people, being around people who mean you well, staying away from drama, staying away from toxic situations and relationships. That's not going to help with your immune health, but supporting yourself around other like-minded people who trying to level up, that's where you want to be. And again, I'm excited about this Coach's Corner with this amazing, amazing woman who we're going to go a little bit deeper into immune health in a way that actually might touch exactly on what you're going through. We'll answer some questions that you all showed me throughout this week. And again, I appreciate you all. Check out this conversation with Tahira, Queen of Wellness. Awesome. Here we go. Episode number 5, Immune Health. I am with the amazing, the living legend, someone who I consider my Instagram best friend because we have been rocking and rolling with each other. I think ever since I came back from Iraq, like
Mhm.
2021, 2022, maybe even earlier,
Yes.
we've been
Yep.
following each other. And when I first started this social media journey, uh, Tahira, Queen of Wellness, she was right there. She was right there
Yes, I
to
was.
support. She was double tapping. She was sending DM saying, "Hey, I like that content. Here's another idea." She was always from day one someone who encouraged me to keep feeding this community. Mind you, she's already been in the community before I got in the community, and she didn't feel threatened. She didn't feel like, oh my God, someone else is in this space, and what they go, it's going to be crowded now. From day one, I have learned from her content. I have learned from her style of doing things. She has been a inspiration, and I appreciate her. So to have her here with us, community, again, it is an honor for me, and you all are in for a treat. Just the way she explains things, the way she thinks, this is real. I feel like sometimes we have been sold a dream when it comes to what health is, what wellness is, what
Mhm.
nutrition looks like, and sometimes Black and brown are excluded from this dream because
Yes.
it wasn't until about 10, 15 years ago we started seeing commercials that represented a little bit more of us. Growing up, there was one image of what healthy looks like. It was either the guy with the
Yes.
abs or the size
That's
zero
right.
woman, and they just running, no sweat. They sipping their little juice or water, and they're doing a little
Mhm.
yoga sweat stretch, and it was so easy for them. But with um, this queen, and that's why we call her Queen of Wellness, she is another member of this community who took the fluff out of it and say, wait a minute, we ain't tricking the people no longer. We're going to start telling them the real deal, and we're going to
Mhm.
have them think outside the box. And health is different from all of us. Yeah, there are baseline guidance, there are baseline recommendations.
Mhm.
However, when it comes to what healthy means to me, it's going to be a little different on what healthy means to you. And I just appreciate you. So thank you and welcome. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I feel blessed and I feel honored, that you have me as a guest. And
Of course.
thank you just for that wonderful introduction.
Of course.
I just embrace it, and I mean, I'm humble, so
You are.
I'm always very thankful, for just any type of props or any type of compliments that you give me. I appreciate it, all. And you're right, we are here to share our opinions from our points of views about what healthy means to us, because again, not a lot of black and brown faces early on, in the nutrition field, the health field, the health coaching, that whole, all those topics. You're right, they seem to exclude us,
Mm,
so I love what you're doing, because you're bringing awareness, to the black and brown communities, to get people aware of how important health and nutrition is.
exactly. And I like how you said that. And this is a black and brown point of view,
Yes.
because the beautiful part about this community, we welcome everybody. Welcome to this community. You have the pleasure of getting nutrition and wellness from all types of personalities, all types of
Yes.
guests. However, we do not negate or neglect the black and brown experience, which has been
Exactly.
neglected for so long. Let me tell the people who you are, who you are, and that way they have a better idea. So Miss Tucker, she received her nutrition education through the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts, which is a nationally accredited healing arts school. So don't get it twisted. This ain't one of those little, in the basement schools. And she learned her holistic
Yeah.
nutrition wellness practitioner degree. She also completed a course, and this is something that touched my heart really, like, in a special way. She completed a course in autism diet and nutrition, and earned a certificate for that, which shows that she has a discipline, a passion, and a specialty with the autism community when it comes to diet and nutrition. And I'm going to invite you back for another episode down the road. And I'm putting you on
Mhm.
camera now. Hopefully, you say yes. When we
Yeah.
have an episode that is for autism community and for those who have children and parents and friends with autism, and how do we approach nutrition and wellness for that community, because they are also oftentimes forgotten and left out when it comes to proper care. So
Yes.
I would love to invite you back on, but let me keep
Yes.
going along with what. So she is currently a pre-med student pursuing a medical degree to become a doctor that will specialize in integrative medicine and preventive care. Integrative medicine and preventive care. She's not going to give you a band-aid for a gunshot. She is going to learn how to help you prevent and also help you maintain. She's going to help you balance. She's going to help you understand root causes of issues that you are facing or may be facing based on your behavior, lifestyle, and patterns currently. That's what she learned. That's what she's
That's
learning. That's what she's
yes.
learning.
Yes.
And on top of that, her first book, which is also in a digital format as well, is called Key Habits to a Healthy Lifestyle for Beginners, which was released back in 2017. And her second book, Fab Superfood Body, was released the year after. She is the mother of one son, and she's in Jersey, Jersey, Jersey. She's out here in
Jersey
Jersey.
girl.
Hey,
That's
let them know, South Jersey. And
that's
with and that is a small, a small highlight of who you are. So
yes.
let's get right into it. So earlier on in this podcast, before you hopped on, I shared about immune health. We talked about red flags. We talked about some habits
Mhm.
that my community can start, implementing in their day to day, and even some of the functions of immune health. What that entails for them, because immune health is not in one spot. It's not one organ. It's a system. So it's
Yeah.
not like, oh man, my immune health hurts, or oh dang, darn it, I done bumped my immune health. It's not
Yeah.
that, it's it's
Yes.
it's believe it or not, immune health can also be past, present, and future, because it
Absolutely.
tells what happened. It's telling what's happening. And if you don't address it, it'll tell you what's going to happen. So, what
Mhm.
does immune health mean to you?
So immune health to me, I'm going to say this is the foundation
Mm,
to our health because the immune system is connected to so many things. It's connected to our organs, our blood system, our lymphatic system, our brain, believe it or not. So it's all just mixed in there. So I would say it's the foundation of our health because when your immune system, is in check, you could fight off illnesses, you can fight off disease, you could reduce inflammation, you can build up your own system it protects the body all around. When you have an injury, your
mm,
immune system responds to that as well too, to reduce the swelling. When you have a traumatic and you bump your leg and you get a
mhm,
bruise, or you get a deep wound or cut, your immune system is in play. It's in play to prevent infection from the injury, reduce inflammation,
mhm,
and it's just all a part about protecting your body. And when you're, like I said, when your immune system's in check, it keeps things in balance and it keeps things in order, and it keeps you a strong body. And now in recent studies, they have really shown how important the immune system is, and
yes,
how one little issue with your immune system, it can lead
that's it.
to it can lead to repeated sicknesses, illnesses. It's even connected to some inflammatory diseases. um some all types of
The
things
chronic
that
side, yes.
yes. And and it's also shown in the studies as well too that a healthy immune system can also reduce the risk of chronic illness. And if you already have a chronic illness, it can reduce the symptoms that you experience with
Mm.
chronic illness, leading to a more healthy, productive life. So the immune system, I feel like it's like an all around, I call it the foundation to our health because it's connected to so many branches of what we have going on in the body.
And you said something, so you said something that I want you to expound on a little bit,
Mhm,
because you gave us the power back. So you
mhm,
said the immune system, our immune system, what we build is going
mhm.
to allow for us to be prepared in the event of an attack, to be prepared in the
Yes,
event of something trying to invade our body. So what
yes,
do you mean by our immune system? So it sounds like each of us have a responsibility, and we have a role on building up our immune system. So I guess all immune systems aren't the same. They aren't built the same. They have the same function, but we
yes.
have a better role of building up our immune system. What does that look like, building up your own, or you're telling a friend or you're telling a client about building up their immune system? What does that mean? What does that look like?
So pretty much, what that would mean is, making sure you get the proper amounts of rest every night, drinking your water, eating
Yes.
healthy, eating healthy, um, uh, boosting up your vitamin C. That's another good way too. Another good, way, fruits and vegetables. That pretty much your diet. I would say is the biggest influence is your diet, what you
Wow.
eat.
Wow.
um is big on health. I mean, yes, you can take supplements. They have supplements for the immune system. They even have medicines. What you're also seeing now is you're seeing traditional medicines infused with honey. Honey is a big honey, helps to reduce infection and things like that. So you're seeing traditional cough medicine that has honey in it. Honey, oh, zinc, honey, zinc, vitamin C. So you're seeing even traditional medicine infusing themselves with, well-known, proven remedies.
Yes.
And it's worked, for a lot of people. I know I've taken cough medicine before with honey in it, honey and zinc in it. And let me
Hmm.
tell you, I will feel better sooner than later. I
There
will
you go.
always better, and so pretty much again, your diet, rest, exercise, all just the basic things. Nothing, it's not nothing complicated, you know what I mean? Yes, you're seeing more and more studies, and like I said, you're seeing more and more nutritional products.
Hmm.
You're seeing nutrition bars, even down to I'm gonna say, cough, like I said, the cough syrups, the halls, they even have vitamin C halls. So everything
Yeah.
infused that promotes your immune system. They have gummies, the little immune gummies, and they have powders and liquids. So there's many ways that you can take care of yourself and boost your immune system. But I always say the best way, supplements are good, but the
Mhm.
best way is the natural way, which is just your diet, fruits, vegetables, water, and exercise, and getting rest, sufficient rest can can
And, and
can do
and
it.
that's the exclamation mark. So
Mhm,
obviously this is a healthy-ish community. So
mhm,
we're as holistic and natural as possible, but we're
mhm.
also reasonable, and we
Yes,
understand that sometimes you get to a point where you may not have done the natural and you might have to rely on the medicinal. You might have to
yes.
rely, and I'm glad you pointed that out. Hey,
Mhm,
sometimes you may have passed the point of
mhm,
naturally preventing something. So
mhm.
you may have to rely on some of the over the counter stuff. You may have to
Yes,
rely on some of the prescribed stuff that you're getting, but understand these are quick fixes and these are not real
yes,
solutions. So
yes.
don't ever feel bad, because again, I'll put it
Yeah.
out there. When I first graduated from school,
Mhm.
And being a nutritionist, it was like,
Mhm.
okay, and I'm on a holistic,
Yeah.
naturopathic side. So I'm like,
Yeah.
everything is gotta be healthy. Get the sound bowl, get the sage. We're gonna do a lemon balm, and we're gonna do all these, tinctures. And yes,
Yes.
100% great for maintenance, great for prevention, even
Yes.
great with reducing symptoms.
Yes.
However, realistically and practically, you may have to rely on some of these quick fixes to get
Mhm.
you balanced. It's not a
Yes.
long-term solution, but it can help you get to a point where you have a fighting chance to get
Yes.
back to the natural stuff. Because you're right, a lot of these over the counters are mimicking what the natural stuff is. They are
Mhm.
saying, hey, this is in there, that's in there. Now, it's
Mhm.
not as potent and it's not as
Yes.
good as the natural stuff because it's their
Yes.
lab stuff. However, don't be like me who turned your nose up. I used to turn my nose up. Oh, I don't do over the counter. I don't do that. I got sick enough one day and I was like, I said, God, whatever you're gonna work through, please just work through this thorough flu, please, because I am at my wits end. And I just sharing that with the community. That's why we're healthy-ish, because we
Yeah.
understand that there
Balance.
is a balance. And speak
Mhm.
on balance. What is, I mean, you just said it. Balance. What is that?
Balance, because you may need to, and
Mhm.
in certain emergencies you may need to take over the counter,
Mhm.
and like I said, you have options over the counter now too, because they are integrating. This is why I like integrative medicine, because with integrative medicine, it's taking traditional medicine and it's infusing it, with diet, nutrition, supplements, and
Mm.
evidence-based, by the way. Integrative medicine is evidence-based, by the way. And so, it's combining things, working together for overall health. You may have to take something, like you said, if you have a sore throat and you want immediate
Relief.
gratification
Yeah.
with relief, yeah. So you may need to take it, but you can also, take something healthy too. You can take a combination,
Great way to put that.
of the two. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, some of this over the counter, it's temporary. You're not going to take it long term. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You're just taking it for the specific symptom, and that's it. You go back to your, healthy path. I don't think, veering off to take over the counter is going to knock you off your health game. No,
Mm,
because again, it's temporary solutions. It's not, you're not going to be taking cough medicine every day for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Even people who do take medication, you can still have a healthy diet. My
Mm,
grandmother, she has high blood pressure. But because she has a healthy diet, she doesn't have to take as much medication. She takes
mm,
she takes a small dose versus someone who may not have it under control that had to take multiple pills because of her diet, her
right.
diet and her vitamins, and also practicing stress, living a low level stressful life. She is up there in age, and
Okay.
she is no complication. She hasn't had complications from it. And even though it's a big sacrifice to become that disciplined, it
Mm,
works, so this goes to show you can still, you may be on traditional medication, some people because you have a chronic illness, but if you can stay healthy through your diet and exercise, it can greatly reduce complications of your illness, as well as you can reduce your medication. Your doctor may reduce your medications because you're doing so well with your diet. So it all works together.
and well said.
Mhm.
Let's give the community some strategy. So you touched on a few of it, and I like it so
Mhm.
far. Let's say, all right, we're at that point, right? And the immune system is ringing the alarm, and
Mhm.
we have been evaded. We have been attacked, and the body is left at a point where you're lethargic, you don't have an appetite, you're moody, you're feeling horrible. You didn't get hit by a bus, you
Mhm.
didn't scrape your knee, you're immune, you're just feeling your worst, whether it be from a parasite, whether it be from a
Mhm,
pathogen, whether it be from a virus, whether it be from bacteria, whatever it is,
mhm.
your system is overwhelmed and you're feeling your worst. What are some strategies or what are some things people should keep in mind when when the immune system is activating itself and working to bring the body back to homeostasis, bring it back to balance? What are some strategies and things people should keep in mind while the body is repairing itself?
So, one top thing that is very important that I think sometimes people, leave out the conversation is rest. Rest recharges your immune system.
Mm,
You have to rest. Don't put too much on yourself when you're sick and running around doing things. I understand, we live busy lives. Some of us are business people, some of us are parents. So sometimes, we get worn out by that. But believe it or not, rest
mm.
plays a big role in recharging your immune system and helping you to get better. So rest, staying dehydrated as well too is good. Staying dehydrated, lemon water,
Staying
warm.
hydrated. Yes, staying hydrated,
Yes,
avoiding dehydration. Yes.
yes. Tea is tea, honey, lemon,
Hmm.
cinnamon with some honey. Just basic natural stuff that can help you to feel better as well too. Obviously, over the counter if you have to, throw in
Manage
some
the
over the counter.
symptoms. Hmm.
Yes, to help manage your symptoms, you can do that. But also remember, also, guys, too. Yes, we strive to be healthy. We strive to use natural remedies. Yes, they do work, but a little bit of a warning. If things get too bad, obviously shortness of breath, fever goes beyond 100, like you really start having really debilitating symptoms. And your basic go-to remedies, the over-the-counter, all that, it's working a little bit, but you're just not getting better. Go see your doctor, go to the ER, go to the urgent care, just to make sure you don't have
Yes.
a more serious infection, where they have to intervene with antibiotics in order for you to
Hmm.
get better, like pneumonia, bronchitis.
Mm.
Also, too, if you have a chronic disease, sometimes that affects your immune system. So you may need to see, get more greater help in order for you to get better, because you have already natural health issues going on, and when you have health issues already going on, that can deplete your immune system, as well too. So like I said, when things go beyond what you can do on your own,
Yeah.
don't definitely, make sure you're okay. Go check into the ER, go see your doctor. Like I said, make sure there's no underlying things going on, because also remember, when it comes to the immune system, it's more sometimes than just getting a cold. There are also immune
Mm.
system disorders that can, make you feel unwell as well too. And it's not connected to bacteria or getting a cold or getting a flu. It can be an actual chronic condition that's going on in your body. This is why, like I said, going getting your
Wow.
checkups and anything. If you're not getting better or you keep getting sick too many times over and over and it's unusual, like I said, you just want to get the clear that there's nothing deeper going on, because there's so many things that could
Yeah.
affect the immune system beyond a normal cold or flu. So always, if you're not getting better, definitely go see your health professional.
Amazing. Because, yeah, and I love how you put that. Community, keep in mind that your immune system can be attacked internally and externally.
Hmm.
So it could be something in the environment. It could have been something you touch. It could have been something you've been exposed to. Uh, Sometimes people don't understand. Hey, I eat right, I work out, I get my
Hmm.
sleep, but I still got sick. Yes, understand that sometimes it's outside of your internal control. There are
Yes,
external factors and parts of the environment that can trigger an attack
that's
that
right.
your immune system is just not familiar with yet. So that's the
Yes.
thing you got to understand. Your immune system, it learns, it remembers
Hmm.
different viruses, different things that attacked it. That's why the next time it happens, your immune system should be at a
Yes.
point where it's able to detect and deter it before it becomes an issue because it
Yes.
remembered what attacked it the first time. And this is why
Yes.
we say build up your natural defenses as
Yes.
well as if you feel like you want to address the symptoms, always take care of your symptoms because your comfort is also a priority, especially when you're caring
Yes.
for others and you have to be your best, not for you, but to take care of a community that you may be responsible over, whether it's your work, whether it's your business, whether it's your children, a parent, or whatever the case may be. We have things, unfortunately, all of us don't have the liberty to take 3 to 5 to 8 days just to rest. We need it, but we may not have that liberty. So we're both saying that we understand you need to address the symptom, but don't
Yes.
like Queen of Wellness said, don't neglect the root cause. The root cause
Mhm.
can only be fixed sometimes with rest, with proper
Yes.
nutrition and diet,
Mhm.
with stress levels being reduced. So
Mhm.
sometimes your cortisol level affects your immune health and
Yes.
affects your response. I had a question, and it says, does sugar really suppress immunity? Yes. If
Mhm.
you're not feeling well, if your body's under attack and you're lethargic and you're trying to fight off something, or your body's trying to fight off something, one of the things that you should stay away from until you're back to normal is sugar, processed sugar. I'm not saying honey. We didn't say honey. We didn't say maple. We're saying processed white sugar, or any of the sugars that are alternative sugars, the sugar alcohols, because believe it or not, yeast, bacteria, virus, they
Yes.
feed off of the sugars. So if you have a sore throat and you naturally been told to take some warm lemon water, but you hate the taste of lemon, you hate the taste of warm water, you want to sweeten it up, and you add sugar, just know that that sugar is counter effective. It's counterintuitive. It's not going to work as well as it can because you're helping it with acid, you're helping it with alkaline, but you're also
Mhm.
destroying it with sugar. So it's like you're what I'm trying to say, community, is there's some things I believe, and Queen of Wellness, I want you to share this as well. So
Okay.
we shared some things that you should consider while trying to get better. Let's talk about some things you should stay away from when you're trying to get better. So I say sugar. So sugar is
Yes.
one of those things that you should stay away from when you're trying to get better, when your body is trying to get back on track. Because sugar also feeds, because we haven't even got into it, which we will in a little bit, the
Mhm.
gut connection when it comes to gut and immune
Yes.
health. We haven't
Yes.
even touched on it yet, but that's why we said nutrition. We touched on it, but and we shared it earlier in the podcast, but we're going to share it a little deeper with you all, that gut connection to health. And here's one of it: the sugars feed the bad
Yes.
actors in the gut, and it that's what creates leaky gut, that's what creates imbalances in your hormone, and your body's not able to properly heal itself. So one of my recommendations that I give clients, and just even to the community, is that when you're trying to get well, avoid all processed sugars as much as possible until you're back on track, whether that comes in processed foods. And again, there are gummies, there are cough medicines, there are things out there, but I would caution you to read the labels and stay away from the sweet stuff. There are so many healthy alternatives
Mhm.
now that
Yes.
provide care and over the counter care without the coloring, which we're now starting to see is becoming an issue with the dyes and the
Yes.
colorings.
Oh my
We're starting to
gosh.
see that some of these over the counter products, not all of them, but some companies have been cutting corners and they're using bad sugars, they're using bad oils, which are stabilizers to keep it
Mhm.
that velocity that you see, that smooth, velvety. They're using bad actors and a product that's supposed to help support you. So I'm just saying, stay away from sugars. Another thing I would say is stay away from alcohol, stay away from drinking uh, until you get better. The issue with alcohol is actually considered a macro. And what happens with alcohol is it dehydrates you and it starts to deplete some of your body from doing it. Now, community, before you come with me, because I know grandma say take a quarter cup of rum,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
know, so I'm so let me be clear, not alcohol in general. I'm
Yeah,
saying you got like, you did 5 shots, or you out and you drinking beers,
that's
and
right.
you excessively drinking. So let me be clear. I'm not saying alcohol in its essence is not good for recovery, because I don't
Mhm.
drink. But what I'm saying is it's probably not a good time to get drunk. It's not a good time to get inebriated. It's probably not a good time to do that to your body while your body is trying to repair. And
Yes,
a third thing I would say, and I'll turn it over to you, Queen of Wellness, on things that people should stay away from, is being in stressful, angry situations. So
yes,
anger, stress, anything, and again, that's even working out. So I get it for my gym rats and my gym buffs. When you're trying to get better, yes, you've heard things were sweated out. I get it. You can help sweat out certain things because you're activating the endocrine system, you're activating certain parts of the body, you're elevating the temperature, which are allowing the immune system. The immune system is already activated. I'm saying be careful that you're not strength training while you're trying to get better, because strength training is tearing up muscle tissue, it's breaking things down to build it back up. And this is probably not the ideal time to tear things down, because your body has other major focuses right now, and that's getting you back on track health wise. So I would say stay away from strenuous activity, stay away from sugars, stay away from getting lit and turned up, because rest,
yes.
hydration, and no
Mhm.
sugar will help the body. What about you? You got some things you tell
Yes.
your friends and people who you consult with, that when they're in the process of recovery, things they should be staying away from? And
Yes.
even women, what are some things, that pop up for women that may not be popping up for men when it's time to get better?
Okay, so again, you want to here's a good if you have a cold or flu, yes, you want to stay away from other people. You want to wash your hands, wash your
Yes.
hands because you can reinfect yourself, touching your nose,
Wow.
avoid touching your nose, touching surfaces that have not been cleaned. All these things can reinfect you, believe it or not, get
Mm,
you sick again. So, and also you want to keep yourself sanitized so you don't reduce your risk of getting other people sick. Remember when COVID happened, we all had to wear the mask, we all had to, kind of abstain from too much contact with another person because, again, some pathogens, some bacteria are very easily spread, so you just want to practice sanitation. That's very
mhm.
important. Cleaning off surfaces with disinfectants, keeping your area, clean and things of that nature, and covering your mouth, if you have to cough, sneeze, do like this, put your face in, your shirt, so that way you're reducing the germs to protect the other person as well too, because sometimes, us taking care of ourselves also means making sure, we reduce passing it to the next person. So just practicing sanitation as well, not just taking care of yourself, but practicing sanitation is a
Good point.
very important thing. Also, too, when you go out in the open, if you're going shopping, grocery carts, notorious for bacteria. You're going to the gym, everybody's using the same equipment. So, I would say, besides hand sanitizer,
Wow.
maybe, carry a small bottle of Lysol, or any type of disinfectant. They carry them in smaller sizes where you can travel with them. Spray surfaces down. I know when I go to the gym, I spray down. I know at the gym they also have disinfectant bottles all around the gym too. You can
Mhm,
spray down the equipment.
mhm.
Spray the carts when I go shopping. I use the wipes that the store has. They have
Okay.
disinfectant wipes. I don't see everybody else using them, but I use them.
Yeah.
I use them because we're creatures of habit. We just grab the cart and we just go into the store. We ain't worried about doing all that. But me, I still, even way after this pandemic, I still wipe down the handles to the carts. You know what I mean? It just, it all still helps in reducing, um, your contact with bacteria as much as possible. We handle money every day. Money has an enormous amount of bacteria on it because it
Yes.
trades hands so much every day. So you just
Wow.
want to
Wow.
practice good sanitation. That is good, along with obviously the exercise, the sleep, and all those things. Another preventative measure that can help too is practicing good sanitation. What you
Listen.
touch.
Mm.
If somebody's sick, I know, people are sick, they don't go around other people, but
If
you
they
also
got
have,
sense, if they have sense, yes.
yes, if they have sense, but there are
Man.
some people who they just have to be out, they have to be doing something, even sick. And, again, that puts other people at risk. So if you can stay home, if you can help it, stay home, and recover and get better first before you go out. I mean, if you have to go out in the world, meaning if you have to go get like your medication or you need
Mhm.
something over the counter and you have nobody else to get it for you, I was saying in the extreme emergencies like that, yes, go out. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, they got Instacart now. They got DoorDash. Okay. They have all these, shopping options that can deliver it to you. And you can opt for no contact. It means they leave your items at the door. So you don't have to even have no contact with the person. So we have options now where, you really don't have to go out if you don't have to, just to, have consideration for other people, getting them
Mhm.
sick.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
wow. Wow. I hope I didn't cut you off. Now keep cooking. You
No, no,
good?
you
You
no,
good?
no, no,
Okay.
you're good. But just the preventative aspect of it, because
Mhm.
like I said, keeping yourself healthy is a big one, and keeping a strong immune system. But we also have to talk about taking preventative measures, as well too. That's very important, too. Watching, touching surfaces and when other people sneeze. Now, other people, some of them they will sneeze and cough, they don't cover their mouth. That
Mm.
drives me nuts. They don't at least try to block their sneezing. They just do it. And I just, I have consideration for people, but that's the thing about, how I think people get sick is you have other people out there coughing, sneezing everywhere. They're not trying to at least prevent, they just cough and sneeze on you. You're like, what the heck? You cough and sneeze on me, and then you get sick, because people are out and they have no business being out while they're
Mhm.
sick like that. You know what I mean? Even with little kids, some parents are sending their kids to school sick. You know what I mean? And the other kids get sick, the teacher gets sick. You know what I mean? And if you're a
Yeah.
teacher, I've heard of, my mom's a teacher. So, I've heard of teachers getting sick because from kids being sent home,
Mhm.
hey, listen, I understand parents have to work, but it's sometimes you don't have a consideration for one another as human beings. Hey, listen, I'm gonna keep my kid home. I'm gonna stay home. And I understand sometimes that's hard to do because everybody's situation is different,
Mhm.
but also sometimes just general consideration for the next person, as well as practicing good sanitation habits, are a big component to preventing illness or reducing immune illness as well too. Just general
100%.
stuff, yeah.
100%. And I think there was an argument I remember even growing up, even with
Mhm.
school. Some of some people, I won't say their hue, um, considered germs a good thing. They considered,
Mhm.
exposure to these viruses, exposure to these pathogens are good because it allows
Mhm.
you to build up resistance. It allows you to
Yes.
have a stronger immune system. However, and I'm so glad the professor addressed this the way
Mhm.
she did. You don't intentionally want to do
Yes.
that. If
Yes.
there are situations where people who have allergies and people who have other
Mhm.
situations where the thing that's aggravating them is introduced in small doses, so that way the
Mhm.
immune system builds up a tolerance.
Yes. Absolutely.
However, I don't think in any medical professional's book of advice they're
Mhm.
telling you to go out there and get as sick as you possibly can so you can be the healthiest in our society. That's not. I haven't
No.
heard that advice from anyone. So what Queen of Wellness is saying, that's that prevention goes a long way and it stops a lot of the dag. Now I am sick, and what
Mhm.
am I going to do? And it's interesting, like even like you said, parents with kids, there are some things outside your control. So you have
Mhm.
little ones who are out and about. You have people who are out and about, and this is a good time to teach them practice. One of the best ways to prevent the spread of viruses and bacteria and pathogens is to wash your hands.
Yes.
This is universal across the whole healthcare professional, that the
Yes.
number serve safe, all these different agencies, the
Mhm.
number one way to prevent spreading is to wash your hands, and spreading to yourself, as she said earlier, because you can spread stuff to yourself and you can spread to others. And I'm someone, people look at me and they look at me like I'm Mr. Monk, the show, because I clean everything. I am somebody, if I'm going down the stairs, I'm not touching on the handrail. I'm sorry. And if I do, and let's say you do for safety, or you're older, you need the handrail and you're at the airport, start putting it in your mind that after you touch contact surfaces that multiple people are touching, that you get in a habit to wipe the pathogen off or wipe the germ off. Just say to yourself, hey, I want to keep my immune system strong. So I'm going to be in a habit of, when I'm touching multi contact surfaces, elevator buttons, handrails, I'm in and out of an Uber, I am at the gym. At the gym, I bring my small wipes, because the gym sometimes they be playing around. The spray don't either work, the paper towel machine is out, or the little sheets is empty. They play too many games.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
I don't want to be stuck in their circus. I now,
Mhm.
thank you, say, I'm so glad they have the smaller ones. They used to have
Mhm.
the pack, and you open up and take, and
Yeah.
those are cool. And I was looking for one, but I was able to get the smaller cylinder one, so it stands up. And I was like, "This is cool." And I use that lemon scent. So after you work out after me, you'll be happy, because it's gonna smell lemony. But I'm somebody who, I'm very particular about my health, and I know the older we get, the more susceptible we
Yes.
are to getting things, especially as we're getting older. Our defenses, they're still there, but there's sometimes we're a little
Yes.
slower to get better, because
Yes.
of not so much aging, because we are going to
Yeah.
age, because I know there's some older people who are healthy, but community, what we're trying to tell you is that when it comes to immune health, when you prevent, or when you work hard or be intentional at preventing
Mhm.
things from attacking you, you are off to a great start. When you
Yes.
feel the onset of something attacking you, because your body will start telling you, you'll feel something in your throat a little bit, you feel a little
Mhm.
sleepy more than
Mhm.
usual, you feel a little achy, you'll be a
Mhm.
little moody, you
Mhm.
may be a little hot, and you're not usually
Mhm.
always hot. Your body's going to start saying, hey, listen, something's happening underneath the
Mhm.
surface, send some help. And this is not the time right away to grab over the counter. This is actually a nice small window to start making sure that, if you already taken a natural approach to your diet, that you say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna cut the sugar and the alcohol for a couple of days. Or, you know what, I'm going to increase my lemon. I'm going to increase some of these supplements. I'm going to increase
Mhm.
some of the other things. Maybe I'm going to go for a walk today, or,
Mhm.
go for a longer walk. Let me stretch. Maybe I need to sweat it out. Let me get a trip to the sauna. You'll start thinking of little things. Hey, let me take a bath with some Epsom salt
Mhm.
and some rosemary oil and some sage
Mhm.
oil. Let me draw
Mhm.
some of these toxins out. You'll
Mhm.
already start to understand your body. You won't ignore it anymore. You won't just say, I'm just tired, I had a long
Mhm.
week. It is. You'll
Mhm.
start listening to your body, because your immune health and your gut are working
Mhm.
together to tell you 95% of the time something's going on. We get distracted by social media. We get distracted by
Yes.
our drug of choice. We get distracted
Mhm.
by just so many other factors. We get distracted by our kids. We get distracted by our business. We get distracted by our job. And we figure that there's pride in pushing through it. And I'm telling you now, community, that we've shared some information about your immune that you are responsible for. Because what you don't want to happen is
Mhm.
that you ignored it in your 20s, you ignored it in your 30s, you didn't take it
Yes.
too serious in your 40s. Now you're in your 50s, and you're dealing with some autoimmune diseases. You're dealing with
Yes.
some You're dealing with
Yes.
some factors that your body has already started to shut down. So there's
Yes.
not too much you can really do. You can still do stuff, but it's almost like the chances you're living a reduced lifestyle because you neglected these years. So all we're telling you is there's balance. Don't give up your over the counter. Yeah, as you're treating the symptom, treat the root cause. As you're
Mhm.
getting better, make sure you don't neglect your sleep. Stay hydrated, stay moving. Make sure that you, when you're stressed out, that sometimes it just takes prayer. Sometimes it takes worship. Maybe get into
Yes.
some worship, maybe get into some praise, maybe get to a point where you get two or three with you and you say,
Mhm.
hey, my body's not feeling right. My mind is not feeling right. I'm tired. My immune system is under attack. The way that works spiritual, because we talked about nutrition, we talked about
Yes.
environment, we talked about other modalities, but I don't
Mhm.
want this community to ever get it twisted. We have a spiritual modality that
Yes.
allows us, you know what I'm saying, to
Yeah.
combat and overcome certain sicknesses and illnesses on our bodies that we
Yes.
can't forget. We can do all the other stuff, but we can't forget to pray. We can't forget to meditate. We can't forget
Yes.
to get to a place of just silence and allowing the body and allowing God and allowing the universe and allowing all these things that come together to bring us
Mhm.
back to balance. We got to let them cook. We got to let them cook, because if we do
Yep.
everything else without that, we're working backwards. And
Absolutely.
that's where we at. So all right, listen. So you drop nugget after nugget after nugget after nugget. Tell us a little bit more about this book. I mean, I know you dropped these books a couple of years ago. Are they still
Mhm.
available for the community to tap in? Um,
Yes.
Okay, they are.
Yes.
And how can people find you? Because you share some good stuff, and people, if people want to say like, you know what, that's somebody I wouldn't mind getting behind. I wouldn't mind having a conversation with her. I wouldn't mind, getting better insight about who I am and my health journey. How do people get in contact with you, and how, if they want to see the book or read the book, how do they get that? How can they get
Okay.
their hands on
So
that?
the book is in digital and audio form, both my books. They're in digital
Okay.
audio form on Amazon, you know.
Okay.
So the first book, a Key Habits to a Healthy Lifestyle for Beginners, that just basically is basic tips to help people who are just getting started in their journey, because we all know, like, the beginning starting of a healthy journey, it is pure struggle.
Yes.
Pure
Yes.
struggle. Some of us, we came up in households where we ate a certain way. We developed certain food habits. So when you're trying to switch to a healthy lifestyle, especially if you have a chronic illness, if you've been diagnosed with a chronic illness, they tell you, most doctors or help, they'll tell you from day one, listen, you got to change your diet. If you have high blood
Mm,
pressure, listen, you have to, you can't, salt, you have to stay away from salt. If you have diabetes, you got to stay away from sugar. If you have an immune condition, autoimmune condition, they tell you to stay away certain foods to reduce inflammation. So, some people have to do full lifestyle changes. And even
yes.
if you don't have a chronic illness or nothing going on, sometimes you just want to change your health for the sake of yourself. Maybe you're getting older and you want to be more healthier. You want to take preventative measures by changing
Mm,
your diet so you build up a strong body. So that book was for, like I said, beginner people. If you're already a pro at this, you won't get much from that book. Now, even if you're a pro, let's say you fall off a little bit, that book
mhm.
may help too. That book can also help you get on track. But it's mainly for beginners, people who are just trying to get disciplined and they're trying their hardest. And also remember, don't be too hard on yourself.
Mhm.
Everybody's health journey is different. Take your time, continue to learn and grow. One small change can lead to, wonderful
So many possibilities. Yes.
wonderful responses in your body. I don't care if it could be just you start drinking more water. That can make a difference in your health too. Adding a vegetable or fruit here and there with your breakfast and reducing sugary cereals in the morning, that can do that. You may have more energy. It'll give you more energy. So there's
Wow.
so many different ways and approaches you can change, but one step at a time. And that book, it encourages you one step at a time. And also it encourages you realistically. because we all know you're not going to go to sleep and wake up some health nut
Guru.
pro. You know what I mean? It's a process and it's okay.
Facts.
It's okay. People have to understand it is okay. It's a process. It is okay. Don't kill yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. One
Yes.
small change will lead to many other changes, but you have to get disciplined. They say, what's that saying? It takes, what is it? 3 months to learn a new habit or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, they have different ones. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
21
So,
days, 60 days,
yeah.
90 days.
To
Yeah,
learn a
if
new
they
habit. So
all
getting the
concurrent.
brain to get used to, because remember, you're undoing years of unhealthy eating, unhealthy habits.
Wow.
Like I said, most people of color, we came up eating a certain way, seasoned food. we
Yes.
ain't trying to hear, we ain't trying to hear no unseasoned food. We ain't trying to
What?
hear that. We want what's good for our taste buds, okay?
Yes.
And let me tell you something. I still struggle too, y'all. So don't feel bad. I'm Queen Oz. I struggle too sometimes when Thanksgiving comes around, Christmas comes around, and my mom, my family cooking that good, delicious food. You
Yes.
can, but I learn to eat in portions. I try to learn
Moderation. Yes.
moderation
Yes.
and eating portions.
Moderations.
So, but that first book is really good if you're a beginner or if you're
Okay.
somebody that fell off a little bit and you're trying to get back on track with your health. That first book of mine, A Key Habit to a Healthy Lifestyle for Beginners, it would be great. And then my second book, Fab Superfood Body, it just goes into detail about the top superfoods out there and their benefits,
Okay.
learn about superfoods and their benefits and how you can add that into your diet. So it's two very simple, very easy books, but
Awesome.
mainly geared towards beginners.
Okay. And community, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is going to be in the description. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast, the links will also be in. I'll probably throw it in the title area, the description area, so that way you'll always be able to go back to that. But those books, say your full name as author, so that way they can look up the title and name, Queen of Wellness.
So it's under Tahira Tucker, and you just
Okay.
put the title in a key, of course it's in a description, key habits to help lifestyle for beginners and fab superfood body, all under Tahira Tucker.
And that's Tahira,
IRA.
and Tucker is Tucker community.
Yes.
And if you're listening to this, her Instagram and social media handle is at Queen of Wellness 83. If you're just trying to connect to her, share with her what you got. If you got any insight or takeaways from this, which I'm sure I did, you can share that with her. And we just want to say thank you. This is what I'm talking about. This
Yes.
was something that I appreciate because I needed it. And
Mhm.
like you say, no matter how much of a pro, degree or no degree, there's
Mhm.
the best part about this community. There's always new information to share, and
Yes.
I should say there's always old information to share and new
Mhm.
information to discover together. There's
Yes.
always something about this magnificent vessel that God has created that we're still learning about. And this is our responsibility to make sure that our health journey is our responsibility. It really is. It's not our doctors, it's not
That's
any of the
right.
professionals in our
Absolutely.
healthcare network, because community, we preach here, I'm really big on not just having one professional for all of your healthcare needs. Your primary is for your primary. You should
Yes.
also have other professionals, someone who may help you with your nutrition, someone to help
Yes.
you with your stress, someone to help you with any specialty issues you may dealing with. And then they work together as a team, someone for
Team.
preventative and integrative. That way you have a network of professionals that
That's right.
you're dealing with on a yearly or bi-yearly basis to help you stay on track. Because if you didn't get anything else out of this episode, this is not the primary function of immune health is not to boost the health, it's to balance the health. So if
Yes.
you are balanced, you don't have to worry about boosting. If you're balanced, you're not tripping about boosting. Boosting
Mhm.
happens when you neglect, and now you have to bring it back to equalize it to become balanced. So you only need to boost when you're imbalanced. So we're going to do our best to stay balanced. And at times when we feel something coming on, we'll work on some
Mhm.
boosting because you got some nuggets in this. And that's pretty much it. Episode number 5, Immune Health. We thank you all for listening. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you, our special guest, Queen of Wellness.
One more thing.
Yes, of course.
One more thing.
Of
Also,
course.
too, in the description box, along with my books, I am
Mhm.
a partner of Goalie Health. It's a line of gummy supplements
Nice.
um that have all different, multivitamin, greens, beetroot. So all different types of gummy supplements and vitamins lines. So yes,
All right.
I included that in the description as well too.
Okay.
So go take a look, add to your, add to your supplements or diverse your supplements with some gummies. And these are not sugar filled gummies. These are natural, no fillers. They're use natural ingredients, so they're pretty good
Okay.
quality gummy supplements. Because all supplements are not created the same. All gummies are not created the same.
Listen.
So Goalie is the truth when it comes to quality and things of that nature. So make sure you check
All
that out as
right.
well.
I love it. All right. I gotta check it out. All right. I like it. We get some Chef D
Yes.
approved on there. I'll check
Mhm.
it out,
Yes.
community. But yeah, thank you so much again for being a part of this
You're
experience and hope
welcome.
we can bring you back on. And you guys know health is wealth. And I'm just here to make sure you're getting paid. Until next time, yum on. Love you guys.